So, you want to know what's going on in Baltimore. You want to know what happened. You want to know why people are rioting. You want to know why people were looting. You can't figure it out. You're like, explain. I'll do my best. My name's Tim Black. But first of all, you got to do me a favor. Do not watch Fox News. No Fox News and no CNN and no MSNBC and no HLN. Don't do it. Well, okay, if you got to watch it, go ahead and watch it. But don't believe what you see. Yeah, watch it for entertainment purposes. You know, like an episode of Grimm. It's fun to watch, but you know that crap can never happen. It's fantasy. Just like one of those mainstream news stories. All right? All right, first of all, there was a young man by the name of Freddie Gray. Freddie Gray, 25 years old, he lived in Baltimore. He was walking down the street. He gave a cop the funny look or something, and cops start chasing him. And Freddie started running. Now, you're going to hear a lot of talk about why did Freddie run. Let me give you a little background on Baltimore. Baltimore's had to pay out almost $6 million. Not because they like giving away money, but because they tend to beat people up. Yeah, police brutality has been on the rise in Baltimore, and they've had to pay out a good amount of money. Baltimore doesn't like paying money out, but they had to. Baltimore's poor, so you know they didn't want to pay, but we'll get to that later about the economics of it all. For right now, just know that Freddie Gray running from police is not the strangest thing to do if you're a Baltimore resident, or if you're a New York resident, if you're a D.C. resident, if you're a California resident. You get it. So anyway, some people say that Freddie Gray dealt drugs. But on this day, when they grabbed him up, he didn't have any drugs on him. He didn't have any drug money on him. He didn't have any guns on him. But what he did end up having is a broken spine. Yeah, you're going to hear them say that this number, 80% severed. The man's spine was broke. He couldn't walk no more. He was paralyzed after the cops dealt with him. Now, the cops, we don't know exactly what happened because they went hush. Yeah, they haven't said a word. Now, that's kind of strange, and it has people upset because if it was you or I who were accused of a crime or was in the presence of a crime, we wouldn't get 2-3 weeks to figure out what we want to say happened. We'd have to give a statement immediately. But not if you're a cop. So we got this young man, Freddie Gray, with a broken spine. He goes into a coma. He was in a coma for 7 days. Then he dies. That's what this is about. Or at least partly what it's about. Another thing most people don't know about Baltimore is that people were protesting in Baltimore for 6 days without as much as a broken window. 6 days. People were holding signs. They were doing it just like Martin Luther King Jr. did it. You know, we shall overcome. Holding signs, being peaceful, singing songs, old folk songs, whatever. Just being peaceful protesters. But on the 7th day, something happened. I don't know, maybe people got upset. And this is where it's important for you to know. There are 3 types of people we're going to talk about here. You got your peaceful protesters, you got your looters, and you got your police attackers. Those are different people altogether. Peaceful protesters, we talked about them. The looters, those are people who went in stores and took stuff they shouldn't have took that didn't belong to them. They took stuff like weave, liquor, shoes, cell phones, toilet tissue, stuff like that. That's where the whole economic thing comes in about Baltimore. See, Baltimore is a poor city. I mean, you got some people with money, but for the most part, people in Baltimore are kind of broke. The average median household income of a Baltimore resident is about $39,000. Now, I don't know where you're from. Maybe that's a lot of money. But in Maryland, it's not because the Maryland average is about 70 grand. Get it? The houses. It's another thing. That's another way you look at wealth. The houses in Baltimore average a value about $150,000. Average Maryland home value, 270. 270,000. Big difference, right? Yeah. That's what I mean about economics. Other thing about Baltimore, they've got unemployment, they got failed government policies, they got politicians after politician getting elected and not doing what they said they were going to do. They got broken systems, a screwed up educational system. I mean, you name it, they've got it. That's the truth. So that kind of explains looting. Now, I'm not saying they should loot, and I do not condone looting, but I understand it. People who live near the poverty line will take stuff if they can. Now, most of the looting was done by young people. Young people who think they are invincible. Young people who didn't think, hey, what if I get caught or what if I get shot? Young people. And some people believe that the looters was all a setup, that the government plotted it, let it happen so that they could do martial law. I don't know if that's true or not. It could be. I mean, it's kind of strange that all these kids were allowed to run in this place and we got the mayor, Mayor Blake, saying, yeah, we backed off and let them do whatever they wanted to do. Sounds like you let them do it to me, but hey, that's another story. So, then we got the people. The last group of people are the people who were throwing stuff at the cops. That's kind of self-explanatory. I mean, if you believe a cop killed a guy that you knew, or a friend or family member, you might throw a rock at a cop. If you believe that cops have been getting away with police brutality in your city for quite some time, you might bust out a window in a cop cruiser. But that in no way equates to the broken spine of Freddie Gray. I've heard a lot of news people try to make the correlation, but it doesn't fit. See, I believe that we all should be upset. You, I, everyone. Because police brutality is out of hand. Over 380 people have died already this year at the hands of cops. That's way too many. I don't know why more people aren't upset. Now, I don't know the color of the people who died. I don't know if they were black, white, Latino, Asian, Native American, but I know they are dead. And I know that we, America, hold the record for the most kills by cops on citizens and have done so for quite a long time. In fact, we're 100 times more deadly in that area compared to all westernized countries. I have a problem with that. See, I think we all should be upset. I think we all should be peacefully protesting. I think we should all do our part because what's going on in Baltimore isn't just a Baltimore problem. It should be all our problem because it's an American problem in an American city, American state, in our country. We need to solve it. And we're not going to solve it by listening to mainstream media tell us that it's a bunch of thugs, when in actuality, we know it's deeper than that. I know it's deeper than that, and now you do too. And I got no reason to lie to you. Well, I hope this video answers some of your questions. Get involved. Follow me on Twitter at TheBartender. I'm not saying rioting is the answer, but doing nothing, that isn't the answer either.